Yeah, these are not supposed to swing like that. All right, it's about that time again. Time to play with everybody's favorite parts car. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not just kidding. Just kidding. That parts car. So you almost got you there. Now we're actually working on this thing today because it runs like shit, and I can't figure out what the heck's wrong with it. In the last couple of videos, you guys might have seen me like messing with it and figuring out why the heck it wasn't running. I would play it off like, yeah, I changed the coil and I changed this and I changed that. It runs great. I'll show you how great it runs. It runs amazing. Watch this. Wow, it runs great, huh? Just give it a second. So you hear the like intermittent running like part? It has a distinct like every other, I don't even know how to describe it. It's the most random intermittent miss I've ever heard in my life. Here, I'll rev it up, then you'll be able to hear it. It's gonna get really loud with my thing on my mouth. I'm gonna stick this in the carburetor, then you'll hear it. There, you can kind of hear it. What kind of an idle is that? I don't get it. And then it's fine. And then it's like fine, and then it's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna run like shit again. And then it's like, okay, we're good for like 10 seconds, and then it goes back to running like crap. You hear that? I really hope this mic picks this up and I don't just look like I'm walking around the parking lot like an idiot. This thing's driving me crazy. Like it's never ever pissed me off or driven me crazy before, but right now, it's really like, I'm trying to think of a good comparison here. Give me a second. Let me think about it. Let me think of one. I'll think of it. It's like an itch you can't scratch, you know? Like if you're driving in the car, first date, ass itches, kind of can't scratch that. It looked really weird. I don't understand. It's idling on like 200 RPM. All right, we don't need this on anymore. We get it. We get it, man. So long story short, I've replaced the coil, the condenser. I think was there ballast in this? I don't know. I don't think there was ballast in this. The spark plugs, which I'm pretty sure are fouled again. The wires, I took the shitty set off and put another shitty set on. So that was cool. The coils, I put 3 different coils on it. All of them suck. Well, granted, they're all fine. Something else sucks. The only thing I haven't changed at this point is the distributor. New cap, rotor, all that jazz, that's all been changed. The only thing we have not changed at this point is the distributor itself. How does a distributor just go bad? That's the one thing I want to know. I don't understand how things just magically go bad. So if someone knows how a distributor goes bad, let me know. That'd be cool. I mean, it's not like it's sat for that long. I would fire it up at least once a week, once every a few times a month if it sat at the longest. I don't know. I mean, it ran. I think it ran for very long, but it got moved in and out of the shop. But this is like just downright annoying. And the biggest annoying part is, well, now it's raining. This car has no windows and no air cleaner. Okay, well, that's great. So it's raining. I got an electrical issue. It runs like absolute poop. I guess the first thing I was gonna do is to take the distributor out. I don't really know if that's a good idea, because if I make it not run and it starts downpouring, I mean, it's not like the car is gonna melt, but that would kind of suck. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Stupid. Project cars, man. They don't make them easy. Just like, can you work for 5 seconds? No. And I know there's gonna be the keyboard techs that come in and it's like, oh, well, maybe it's a fuel problem. It is not the fuel at all. I've tested that out the wazoo. I built the carburetor twice, made sure that that's not a problem. We have fouled out plugs, which means theoretically, if we're not getting a spark, we have too much fuel. This carburetor's been checked, it is regulated, it is sitting at 6 pounds. And the biggest thing is with a non-working carburetor, a carburetor that's just dumping fuel in, normally, when you rev it up, it all will eventually clear up. This one is distinct, it cuts out, it doesn't matter if it's at 1,000, 3,000, 9,000 RPM, it's the same crap. It still breaks up, and it's an intermittent electronic cutout. Now, it's just very obvious that it's an electronic cutout. I'll probably eat my words later when I find out there's some sort of fuel issue that I can't figure out, but it's driving me absolutely insane, and I do not know what's wrong with it. So to start today off, I need to fix this thing because I moved this thing all over the shop, inside, outside, upside down. I need this thing to be able to move. I'm tired of pushing it. I don't want to push it. I want to drive it. And as cool as this thing looks with this damn FE engine, which worked amazing up until now, it's just causing me nothing but a headache. And you can see I've just put a random set of spark plug wires. I've got all of them over here sitting where I was ohm testing everything. I was just making a set of wires work out of like 3 sets. But apparently all of these have a ton of resistance, which these are the ones that were on the car that were loomed all nice and pretty. And the one thing I noticed is when you look on the insides of these things, it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but these things have a lot of like corrosion on them. Again, it's probably not going to pick it up on camera very well, but there's corrosion on the inside of these. And then when I ohm tested them, they all had way like more than 2 to 3 times the resistance that the manufacturer spec calls for on these. And so I was like, okay, ton of resistance to the plug wire, adequate voltage off the capacitor, which is your coil, is not going to the spark plug properly, therefore it's running like crap. Change that, nothing. Change the rotor, nothing. Change the cap, nothing. Change the coil, which is the capacitor that basically gives the whatever 100,000 million volts or whatever to the spark plug. It doesn't do anything. Nothing changes anything. And so I'm like, okay, let me put my thinking cap on here. What's actually going on? And so I'm like, well, maybe there's a mechanical issue. And I was like, bolts don't just unloosen themselves when things fit. And it's not like this thing sat for 30 years. It doesn't make any sense to me, man. I'm just driving myself insane. So at this point, I'm going back to the ignition system. And I guess the only thing I could think, which I'll probably eat my own words, is I really don't want to do this, but I might just put another distributor in it because I think I have one off the crew cab or ready to run. And this is literally a point style ignition system, but it was so simple. I love it when things are simple. This had points, it was easy, it didn't have a crazy electronic ignition I deal with. Everything was nice, it was dandy. But for whatever reason, I cannot figure out what the hell is going on with this thing. So I want to keep playing with it, even though I've probably spent 8 hours of my life playing with this stupid thing, trying to get it to run a little bit different, and nothing's helping. So at this point, we're tired of throwing money at it. We want to actually fix it. So let's try that. All right, so I'm gonna pull this thing out so it's a little bit easier to see, and you're probably like, it doesn't run that bad, right? Well, there's a kicker here. Under load, it's really bad. Plus, I'm gonna pull it out just so we can see the whole thing a little bit better. It's been jammed in this. Oh, there's a screwdriver in there. Hey, you know what? You can stay there. It's fine. It's not a show cut or anything. Well, it was. Okay. The nice thing is it just literally fires right up. Look at this. It's that easy, man. Oh. Dang it. This thing drives me insane sometimes. And that's just the way she goes, man. You know, I think this is a good spot for it. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. We'll just leave it right there. Screw it, man. That's where I wanted to park anyways. It's fine. Just leave it right there. Alrighty, it's getting a little cold this time of year. You know what that means. It's knuckle busting season, but we have the solution for you. Because there's nothing worse than smashing your knuckles on a massive cast iron engine in the middle of the cold, and that's where Blaster comes in. These guys have been the #1 selling penetrant since 1957, and for good reason. Because all you gotta do is just spray this on a bolt. You can go and walk away, crank the heater up, sit by the heater in the fire for a little bit, come back and the bolt comes right out. I just used that on the cap mounts on this thing. They were locked up solid. Put a little bit of this on there, let it sit for a little while, came back with an impact, came right off. And there's no smashing hammers, then there's no smashing my knuckles. So let's stay away from knuckle busting season. And remember, don't blast your knuckles, blast your nuts. We use Blaster product in the shop all the time, and it allows us to keep these projects moving fast and efficiently without worrying about broken bolts or smashed knuckles, because there's no pain worse in the world than smashing your knuckles on a cast iron engine when they're frozen. I'll have a link for you guys down in the description below if you guys check out their products. And you can just scroll through and browse and see all the stuff that they actually make. It's a really, really wide range, and a lot of people don't even realize how many products Blaster actually offers other than just the OG PB Blaster. So it's free. Check the link down below in the description box and check out that product list. You might be surprised. I guarantee you there's a product for your application. So that being said, remember, don't blast your knuckles, blast your nuts. I want to give a massive thank you to Blaster for working with us on today's video. Now let's get back into the action. All right, we're gonna try this again. I'm gonna be successful this time. Again, like I said, I have zero idea what this is. I've really dove deep, you know? Like when you get out a voltmeter and you pretend to know how to use it, that's how you know things are serious. Okay, let's get this in a more legit position. And it runs fine. Bro, it literally runs fine now. What the f, man? This doesn't make any sense. Totally fine. Maybe I just need to drive it. Oh yeah, that doesn't sound very good. Oh yeah. You know when you think you can just like drive something and it's just gonna clear up magically just by driving it? Sometimes that works. It's not working at all with this car. This car just wants to die. It just wants me to leave it and die. But that's not happening. I put so much money into you, so much time, so much effort. Why don't you love me? I don't understand. This makes no sense. Can never please a stupid car. Well, the weather's about as optimistic as this car today, but I think the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna just say screw it and we're putting a damn distributor in it. Let's see if I can, yeah, do a burnout. The funny part is he has no rear brakes, so it's even easier. Oh wait, that car's front wheel drive. But yeah, so I guess the next thing is I have, damn dude, get it. We've got a Holly ready to run out of the crew cab. I think that's just what I'm gonna do. I think the pickup inside of the distributor has corroded or something's wrong with it. Like I said, I've changed every single component with the ignition system. I could imagine maybe putting another set of plugs, but dude, I'm not putting 3 sets of plugs in this thing. It just doesn't make any sense. I could take them apart and clean them, but I don't know. I'll pull a plug right now. I guarantee it's gonna be pitch black. All right, let's give this a whirl. Got number 5 right here. Pull this guy out. See how optimistic this looks. That's what I don't understand is you can hear the thing. It runs amazing, and then it runs like poop, and then it runs amazing, and then terrible. And it's like, I've never seen an ignition system so inconsistent. So I was naturally like, oh, okay, then it's probably a connection, right? Changed everything that would have had to do ever with a connection. Still does. So I'm like, okay, there's gotta be an internal corrosion somewhere in one of these wires that I can't see with my own eyeballs, which is what I think is actually going on. I think whatever is quote unquote corroded is so bad that I can't even see it. And sure enough, yeah, she's pretty fouled, but it's working. You can tell it's starting to get there. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. It's not too bad, but you can see the black ring around it. It's definitely less than ideal. So you can see I was starting to foul it. I'm hoping that it was gonna clear up. And I've let this thing sit and run for a long time, right? I went and let it sit. And you can tell these plugs are brand new, which because they are. And I let this thing sit for a half hour and hopefully it'll just let whatever carbon burn off. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just go drive it. Well, the car's not street legal right now, so I can't drive it on the street. If you just drive it around the parking lot, I think it just falls on its face and farts and bangs and pops and does all this stupid stuff. And I really don't want to mess with the timing or anything because I know that's been set for like literally 3 years. And it's set perfect for this car because you can hear when it runs, when it starts running fine, it literally runs perfectly. So it's not a timing issue. But this one's really, really tricky. I'm sure there's somebody that's like screaming at the TV like, dude, it's this. Just jump to the TV, man, help me. Or your phone or whatever. But I guess we'll have to get creative with this one, so. I don't know. I'm gonna get creative though. I'm gonna play with a couple different options and see what the hell's wrong with this thing. All right, so here are my current findings, and I think I have a timing scatter or timing curve scatter, dwell scatter, whatever you wanna call it. And you can see this thing, pretty much it should snap back to where it's going. And you can see it's got a lot of wiggle room here. And it's not really like snapping back like it should. Like for example, this thing has been, you'll see a video on this truck eventually, but this thing has been sitting for like 30 years. See how it snaps back right to where it's supposed to be? No questions asked. Nothing's literally been sitting forever. This thing, I think, is worn out. And even though I put new condenser points and everything in this, it's just like it's springing back, but it doesn't like snap back like the other one does. And I think overall you can see there's like there's a good amount of play in here. And I think what's going on is it's like good, and then every once in a while it'll jump out and it'll not strike the cap perfectly, which tells me that the lugs inside of the distributor are worn out. So I do honestly think if I change the distributor to probably fix this. So that's kind of what I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna look around and see if I can piece the distributor together. I really don't want to put the electric ignition one in here, but if I have to, I will. We'll see, because then I gotta rewire a bunch of stuff. But with that, I'm gonna throw the distributor in this thing and see if it fixes it. Hopefully, because I mean, it's got it, right? It's the last thing. I haven't changed anything else. I've changed every other piece. So it's gotta be that, right? It's how cars work, right? Engine no work, put new engine in. Sounds like a damn tractor. Like my International? Sounds great. Yeah, it sounds like a crappy jet boat, huh? With the log headers. Okay, so back to where we started. Basically what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to make this as quick and painless as possible. And what I mean by that is I'm essentially just simply going to rotate it to the 12 o'clock position, pull this guy out, pull the wiring out, check all that, and then I'm just gonna put my other distributor right in the exact same spot, hook up the wires, and then I guess at that point I have new wires that I can put in this thing, because I have a set of MST wires for this whole setup, because it's gonna change them from a male end, which is what these are. These are female, to a male wire. So I'm just gonna swap all that stuff over. So I'm gonna get a breaker bar and roll this thing over. Yeah, that's gotta be the problem. So it stays over there, stays over here, stays over there, stays over here. Yeah, these are not supposed to swing like that. They should snap back to where they're going. That's definitely the problem right there. Yeah, that'll do it. That's a timing swing. That's a big timing swing. Like that's like a 20-degree swing or more. So that's basically going from like, let's say our initial timing's 12 degrees, it's going to like 0 or 30 or whatever, and then it's coming back, and it's doing that like crazy. So the car is just like all over the place, the timing map. Well, that'll just about do it. Yeah, I think that's right. Get this out of the way.
Move our bracket. Let's see how this goes. Oh, damn it, there's a freaking wire in here I forgot to take off. This Marty wire tuck is so nice, and I can't get any of this out. I like how I struggled for so long to put this bolt and nut on this condenser wire just to take it back off. Fish this wire out of here. Now you can come out and not drop the nut into the engine. Okay, there we go. That's a lot of oil. Okay, well, at least there's getting oil up there. That's good. This distributor we put in the crew cab when we were at Dillon's. So this is not a sniper distributor. This is ready to run. But it's a pretty nice unit. It's way too nice for the drivetrain that's in this car, but it's what I have lying around, so we're gonna make this work. It's still got grease on it because I didn't run it for very long. I'm gonna drop this thing in here, and then I guess we'll just try to rewire this connector. Oh, I actually left the connector in here. Oh, I didn't think I had that. I thought I was gonna wire all this from scratch. Cool. Oh, I got it. Dude. I can throw that on and run our wires. Bada bing, bada boom. That'll look fine. Check out what I was talking about before. So you see how this thing, there's no clockwise movement. It snaps right back to where it's supposed to be. You cannot move it anymore. That's how they're supposed to be. So that's probably the issue if I had to guess. Alright, I have like a hodgepodge of wires. I think I have this hooked up correctly. I don't know, I'm gonna try to start it. And I'll probably snug down the distributor and just lightly time it by ear. Yeah, whenever it's at, it's close. Pretty sure it's at 10. I just want to see if I wired it correctly. I think it is. Oh. I didn't put the battery back on. No timing in it, but it runs perfect now. That's so funny. Wow, what a concept. You have a working distributor and it runs perfectly fine now. What a concept. Get a little bit of timing in there like that. Sometimes I know what I'm doing. Let's see, we put about 8 degrees in it. Cold revs and all, dude, this thing runs bitchin' now. Sick. It's even more awesome that I had 3 wires to hook up and I didn't hook them up incorrectly. That's perfect. You can see this like total hodgepodge of wiring we got going on. And I just spliced it in the old harness. It's literally just the positive side of the coil, negative side, and then ground. That's literally all it is. And I just put the ground wire on the valve cover. And then went next door over to my neighbor and stole some of his off his race car because I don't have enough wires to make this work because this was off a spare kit. But as ugly as it looks, that was the problem. So I was right. It shows that sometimes the last part that you haven't replaced sometimes actually is the problem. And that proves it because this thing runs perfectly now. That makes me feel good. Now I can actually move it around. We can drive it up and down, pretend like we're driving it on the street. It's not gonna run terribly. I eyeballed that thing at 8 degrees perfectly. I think the fastest and easiest distributor install I've ever done. That's all it needs, cap it. I like to set these mechanically. From my understanding, if I remember right, they advance 20 degrees mechanically, so you set them at like 10, and then they advance to 20, and then they're basically at 30. You don't need 36 if you're just idling it around the shop. You're between 8 and 12 initial, ramp in 20 degrees mechanically, and then you're done. You can go all the way to 36 if you really want to, but you can run into detonation issues if you have crappy feel like I do. So that's perfect. That'll get it putting around the shop. I can move it around. It's always gonna start. It's always gonna run. That's perfect. So with that, tighten it down and we're done. All right, well, got that done. Now the only downside is now that this distributor's on, male wires always stick up a lot larger than the female ones do. So you can see when I put this thing on all the way. doesn't fit anymore. So, ironically, a lot of companies make these really cool, cheap plastic spacers. This is just one I had lying around. You can get them actually, I think, at like O'Reilly's and AutoZone's and a lot of different parts stores locally. So you can set this thing on, and it spaces everything up perfectly. You can see that thing will sit right there. And now everything clears fine and dandy. I could probably get it a little bit tighter, but for now with this thing, it doesn't really matter too much. But the downside, that doesn't fit anymore. So I gotta make the stud longer. So what I did is I went ahead and got some all thread right here. I'll just take this out. Make sure you don't drop it in the carburetor. I've done that before. Drop this guy all the way in here. And then look at that. Got it marked right there. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this, and then we'll be good to go. Supposed to run. Runs perfectly. The thing you gotta do is clean the inside of this thing because it is absolutely covered in sealing dust. Look at that. Let's have to clean this thing up. It's funny, it was raining, and I was like, man, I wonder if this thing will do a burnout. And I like heard the converter come up, and either the converter was slipping or the tire was spinning. So I don't know which one. I know it's low in training fluid. But hopefully it did a cool burnout. Probably not. That was super lame, but it did it. It did something. Oh, also, by the way, I don't think I pointed out that the reason this thing sounds so absolutely horrific. Let's see if I can see it. So there's one muffler, right? One muffler on this side, cool, nice exhaust leak right there, you like that? And muffler delete. So we're one straight pipe, one muffler. That's why it sounds like a tractor. So in case you're wondering why it sounds like literally an International, I bet a John Deere sounds cooler than this thing. That's why. It's because it literally has one crappy old Flowmaster that's definitely older than me, and then it's just dumped in one straight pipe because the muffler fell off on the trailer and we just left it. But it runs way better. So I didn't even really let it warm up fully, and that obviously hasn't been completely tuned. The timing hasn't been adjusted. It's just enough to move it around, right? But it runs flawlessly again. I just did that quick little retune, and right when I adjusted that mixture screw and got it back straight, you could hear the idle jump up and it was crisp again, which is what I really wanted. That's what this car's always been. And I know we're not keeping the drivetrain in this, but for the time being, until we get a space to where we can actually work on this thing and get it up on the air and start doing some chassis modifications to get a new drivetrain in it, it needs to be able to move under its own power, which is exactly what I did. But another thing that's kind of irritating me is just how much sanding dust is on the inside of this thing. So I need to get it cleaned up. When I say there's a lot of sanding dust in it, I mean there is a lot of sanding dust in it. And it's somebody's fault, really. The car just got a tremendous amount of bodywork, so really everything has gotten totally wrecked. But you can see all the metalwork that's been done to this car. This car is at a complete quarter panel. You can see that weld goes all the way down it. Trunk floors, this is an entire AMD trunk floor, bead rolled panel made by me. It's had tubs made for it, also made by me a long time ago. You can see this is the other side. It's got full tubs in it. That's why I can lay floor with a 20 by 10 wheel like that. And then I handmade this rear filler neck, and then I Frenched in all of this stuff. So this is all custom to this car. It's had all the the trunk extension pieces. It has lower extensions put in it, quarter extensions on the inside, quarter skin, blinds, the whole nine. This car's had roof work done to it. It's had everything done to it. So on a scale of 1 to everything, this thing has had literally everything done to it. But you can see everything's pretty dirty and gross in here, so I'm gonna go and clean it all up. Oh, my screwdriver, I'm looking for this thing. All right, man, finally got this thing cleaned out. Looks way, way better. I don't have just an absolute mess everywhere. Same with the back and the inside of this thing. It's overall way better. You can see overall the entire interior is not gonna absolutely get all over you every single time you hop in this car. But yeah, this thing's finally running much better. The MSD ready to run that's in this thing. This was exactly what we put in Dylan McCool's house when we built that truck. And this distributor's awesome. So like I said, I had it. We changed that thing over to Hyperspark when we put the Sniper 2 on it. So this was a perfect solution for this car, just to move it around. So you're probably wondering what plans are for this car, and I have a lot of announcements coming into Black Friday. We have our light bars coming out for these trucks, so definitely check out my Instagram for a lot of posts on that. I'll probably have a video here as well, but Black Friday, we are coming out with our light bars on that. We have 2 new shirts, gloves, and a couple more accessories. A really, really cool drop for you guys on Black Friday, so do not miss that. But the main thing is we cannot dive into this car until we get some adjustments to our shop space, so I'll be talking about that when I have updates on it. Essentially, we are gridlocked with this car until we have a chassis table and a space to build the car on, to do the modifications necessary to make the car really, really special. But for now, I'll be working on the Terminator X install on this truck, as well as getting that highboy running. So those are kind of the next videos that you'll see is us diving into those 2 vehicles specifically. So with that, I want to give a massive thank you to you guys for sticking around and watching me mess with this thing again. I love working on the car, but man, it always just tries to push me around and make sure that it keeps me on my toes. And when I think it's always fine and dandy, this car always likes to spruce things up. But with that, stay tuned for Black Friday. Like I said, that's a really, really big job, and we'll have posts later in the week talking about it. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, guys.